Welcome back, everybody. Another episode of the live Wednesday night show here at League of Inches, and the Martin brothers are back, so it's all good. Stop worrying, stop freaking out. The boys are back from their hiatus, and they're ready to rip and tear and get into some pretty cool talking points. We've got a good show lined up. Obviously, there's some crucial games coming up on the weekend. We will give our expert analysis, obviously, on the games, and obviously get your input as well as we go through. As always, the more you guys all get involved with this show, the better it runs. So I really appreciate everyone getting involved as we go on. So let's get into things. Let's do the old what caught our eye this week. Mika, I'll throw to you first. What caught your eye this week, either on or off the footy field?
What I've noticed this week is how much it sucks when your team is not going to be playing finals footy and you get to this time of the year. As a Parramatta fan, we had a really good run between like 2017 and 2022, and it just became the norm for me and my daughters, like finals time, and start planning special dinners when the Eels were playing. And now it's just like, well, this is fucking horrible. Now I've got to try and find another team to follow, and I don't really like following other teams. So that's what caught my eye, how different it is going into September when you're not playing finals footy.
Yeah, I feel like I just zone out in a bit. Like I just more so sit back and enjoy the games. I can't find myself following or barracking for other teams. I can't do it. It's just that passion part of it's not there.
Yeah,
gets me
absolutely.
Adam, how's things? It's been a long 24 hours since we were last on together, talking para, obviously. How's things for you? What caught your eye this week?
He stole my one. It was the same, obviously, with my wake me up when September ends there. It's just the Parramatta game on Saturday, obviously, was a decent-sized crowd there, and we saw the St. George fans a little bit of excitement at the potential of their teams making finals, and I thought, how good were those moments? I was thinking back to, the 2019 game at home against the Broncos, the 2022 game against Canberra, all those great memories, and then I'm like, fuck, this is it. This is the last game at Parramatta. This is it for the year. We've got the Super Spoon Bowl happening this week, and I've added the Super to it. It's the Super Spoon Bowl now. And that's the last game there. It's all she wrote. Like, there's not even any lower grades to get excited. Parramatta aren't playing finals football or anything. So that's what caught my eye. I guess the only thing I've got to look forward to is the local footy. Local footy finals happening. And I guess what caught my eye, and I was trying to get the video up to share, but I can't do it, was the hip drop tackle I sent through to you guys away from the NRL. Possibly the worst hip drop tackle I've ever seen in my life, resulting in a broken leg, an hour delay, and no penalty given. I don't think I can share it. I probably can. Hang on. Give me a sec. I'm pretty talented at these things now, aren't I?
Oh, mate, you're the new guy. You are almost taking over Jez's position.
Jez,
shout out to you, Jez.
Before you play this, you better give a warning because I've seen it, and it's pretty shocking when he's laying there.
Maybe just show the incident and then just stop it. We won't risk anything.
Yeah. If you're watching this podcast, you're obviously pretty used to me not knowing how to use technology, first of all. But let me see if I can share this. Present.
You're running out of time. It's time to move on.
Shush you.
Didn't.
No one asked you for your opinion.
Didn't. Remember that the heartbeat that gets played on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? I think we should start playing that.
Entire screen. I think this is what I want. Is this going to work? Tell me if you can see this. I hope nothing else comes up. What have I been Googling? Can you see that?
Oh, what? No, nothing.
We're professionals.
We can't see anything here.
Well, maybe we can post
Great
it
opening
online.
to the show.
Maybe we can post it online later.
We'll post it.
Yeah, we'll look into it, and then we'll get it posted out there, and I'll put a bit of discretion up and say that there could be some graphic material in there, but we'll get to that, guys. And I do agree with what you're both saying. It does sort of suck in a way that your teams. I feel like this season's gone super quick. I don't know if it's because of the page and stuff, and just being busy with doing all the content and stuff, but it just feels like this year has gone super quick. Adam, what are you wearing? People are a bit curious. What jersey is that?
It's my Nines jersey from last year, our Steel City Elite. We won the Nines. The female Nines got beat in the semi-finals. It's almost Nines time of year. The Brody Pearson Memorial Nines at Maitland. So in the preparation of getting it ready to go again.
You may have forgot, you may be busy today, but you did promise the Talk and Para listeners about the Troy lookalike. You'd put them up today. That what was it? The Trent from Punchy or something, and whatever I forget.
They said he looked like I think I've got this, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Beshman,
think
the
it's something
5'8"
come
for the
up.
Devils, is going off the field, and the old head of Sean Kidd is going to replace him. As the Devils on Zach Webb, that's a bad injury.
Oh, no way.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, now stop that one.
Yeah,
we're
we'll
good
leave that now. There you go. So there's the hip drop. That's what caught my eye. It was disgusting.
That's horrible.
Did he get cited after that? Like, is he
going
to get suspended?
I don't follow Group 21. But what I know is that it was your backyard. Literally happened in your backyard at Greta.
Oh, really?
And yeah, it wasn't a Greta player, but it was happened at Greta. That's where the semis were, and it's a Group 21, Marcus. But yeah, apparently it was delayed by 60 minutes and no penalty was given or player sin bins. It was disgusting.
Not good. Not good at all. I remember the NRLW game. Wasn't it last week? The Para game got delayed by like half an hour or something because of an injury and an ambulance not being there either. So pretty crazy. Mine, what caught my eye, and I think we've shared this to a few other Para groups and stuff. So hopefully they're on board online now, getting online and ready to have a bit of a chat about some things. But obviously, this NRL 360 popped up tonight, and obviously, the board crap that's going on. I don't really want to talk about that because I'm just over it all. The clowns that want to get in and just a shit show at the moment. More on the Riles factor. I just wanted to see you guys because it sort of has pointed out to me, and I've he's been sacked from the Storm now for 6 weeks or something. I think it is, and we haven't really heard from him as supporters. And I would personally like to hear just give us something. Let us be a bit excited about something and know some sort of plans. Interview him. Just go a quick 10, 15-minute interview with him and see some of his early plans for the club next year. Where are you boys at with this one? Would you like to see and hear a bit from Riles? He's not contracted to Melbourne anymore. They ripped up his contract and he's technically just waiting for us to, I guess, November 1 to start, but he's already doing work apparently. So behind the scenes, what are you boys at? Mika, I'll throw to you first and see your thoughts.
I don't blame him. He doesn't need to be in the media at the moment with this train wreck of a season we've had. And if people start thinking, like if he's doing stuff now and something goes on in a game, I think, I wonder if that's a Riles thing. I just think he's better off waiting till the season ends. That's a definitive point in time as the changeover point. And I've got no doubt we'll start seeing him in the media pretty quickly after that. Once the players that are leaving get out, the coaching staff get out, and I'm fine with that. I think it just creates a moment, right? That's gone, that's done. Here we go. Now we're moving forward. So I think I understand it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't mean go to the Telegraph and do an interview there. I just mean in club, go to the club and they speak to him and things like that. Maybe even just put a picture up with him in a Neil's polo or something to get a few people excited because let's be honest, there hasn't been much to get excited about at all this year. So
problem is whatever he does like that, the media will take it and run with it and change it and fucking do whatever they want with it. So I kind of understand why he hasn't done nothing. Nothing at all until a point in time, and then start getting ready for the grand final next year.
Adam, what are your thoughts?
I'm with you in a bit of a way. It would have been nice to see him, at least presented in a polo as soon as he left Melbourne. I got when they did the announcement. They obviously couldn't do it because he was coaching Melbourne. But, we've seen players before. I think it was Kick-Out, wasn't it, that the Bulldogs broke it when he was still signed for Penrith, walking around a Bulldogs jersey. We've seen shit like that before. And as soon as he left Melbourne, there was an opportunity to do that. I actually spoke to CEO of Parramatta, Jim Sarantinos, about this last Wednesday, just to get his thoughts on it because I knew it was out there. And after listening to him, I kind of backed their opinion on it. They said he's taken the time to obviously build his coaching team, take the time away from the pressure of being involved to talk to the players and catch up with them without, I guess, the media's already scrutinising and talking about it without there being cameras present and media rocking up knowing he's there. And also they want to show a little bit of respect, I guess, to the players to focus on their game a little bit, which obviously hasn't happened a lot, but I knew that Riles was going to come in and what was that bad? Riles was going to come in and obviously change a few things. And there's a few players under pressure and that need to be told, they need to go and stuff. But I guess they didn't want him being there watching over everything, watching every move they do at training and stuff like in that regard as well. They also want to show Trent Barrett a bit of respect, which I don't think Trent Barrett's earned that respect with some of the choices he's made. But I fully understand why they've kept him away. And also, like Michael said, just the negativity around the club and the year it's been, you don't want him to focus and get involved in that because it can get him off to a fucking shit start. Like, if he comes in, let's say he took over as head coach or just took over and helped out, it's all on him. Like, they're saying, you're preparing this squad for next year. It's all on you now. And it gets his coaching record off to a terrible start.
Yeah, valid points that you make. I just feel like, I just want to get a bit of excitement. And it's been, as I said, it's been a shit of a year. It would be nice to get a little bit excited and hear from a guy who's our big future, what we're putting our future into, and just, I'm not saying necessarily take over the whole joint straight away. I know he needs to have some time to sort some things out, and that takes some time. But I don't know, it just would have been nice to see him in a parapolo or something and just have a quick chat and just say, look, keen as to get on board, start officially. And yeah, I don't know, shout out to the Para Army that are doing it tough, I know. But yeah.
Like, Mad Monday's been booked for a while for Parramatta, funny enough, so I'll get that out of the way.
Riles will pop up to that, or
I don't know. I think he's invited. I think that's Trent's last, little hoo-ha. But I don't know if Nathan Brown's going to turn up to slap Trent a bit as well. Just, he's obviously part of next year's coaching staff, slap around. You don't know what could happen there. But I think memberships are going to launch at Parramatta early October, and there's obviously going to be a focus on a rebuild. The club knows they're in a rebuild. They know there's obviously steps they've got to take in regard to that as well. So as soon as they start that rebuild, and that's what they're going to call it, then the focus will be on next year, and they'll start to try and generate some kind of excitement with jerseys and sponsors and potentially a couple more player signings that will get you excited for that, because we're all optimistic when it comes in a new year, no matter how bad our team goes. Everyone is. Like, we won, nearly won 3 wooden spoons in a row, and I was still looking forward to 2014. We almost made finals.
It's just a quick one with the memberships. Now, I know a lot of people out there trying to say they don't want to renew and all that sort of stuff, but be careful, because I do know the auto renewal is on for basically everyone. So if you have got your membership and you don't want to re-sign for whatever reasons you've got, if you're not happy with how things are going, make sure you go check your settings and stuff, and make sure you have clicked that unsubscribe, whatever button it is. But just be careful. That I think most clubs have that set up now, but it's just a little
October,
trick to, a little trick to just roll over things. And if you're not happy, just make sure your feelings are known. There's a few questions about this one, Adam, and I'll be respectful for you because it's your page and the one you put up there. I know you are a bit careful with what sort of information you want to give out so far, but people are already curious about this post you put out from NRL 360s, and I didn't really want to talk about it, but we always want to cater for the fans on here, and they've asked. So what can you sort of inform everyone about? There's obviously past players want to get back involved and run for the Leagues Club Board. I'll put that in capital bold letters, the Leagues Club Board. But there's a mystery man or two behind the scenes. I don't know if we want to say that, or you take it away. I don't know what you want to do with this one.
Yeah, I just want to highlight, first of all, that we've called for change. We've never once highlighted on Talking Para that we wanted the Leagues Club Board to change. The club is kind of set up in a very weird structure, and they're set up that way by the NRL after the salary cap breaches. So those who don't know, the Leagues Club Board gets voted on. It's the only thing you can vote on. They can then attempt to change the constitution to change the Football Club Board, which currently has 6 members on it. And then they can obviously make decisions around who is a CEO of the club, who is obviously employed of the club, coaching decisions, all that kind of stuff in regards to that. Like I said, us Talking Para have never had a problem with the Leagues Club Board. Look, I'll straight out come and say it. I've been asked to support this new one, which I haven't done at the moment. I've been happy to sit back and listen to both sides of it. Obviously, we've pretty much stated on Talking Para, we've had some dealings with the club throughout the year. In regards to this new one and who's running it and stuff, I guess time will kind of tell there. There's a lot of people involved. I'll say now, the person who claims to be running this will most likely be on Talking Para next Tuesday night. So obviously we've got a lot of cross fans here that watch both Talking Para and this show. Next Tuesday night, I'm hopeful to have that person on. want to remain behind the scenes at the moment. There's some other people involved. They're putting a lot of the legends' names to obviously build momentum. What have we got here?
Oh,
What have we got?
oh.
Before we get into him, we'll
Jezza!
finish this off. Yeah.
How do I do this again?
There's a lot happening there. There's a lot of people. I believe they actually haven't made up their mind, is what I'm being told. What I'm being told is they haven't made up their mind about it.
Can I
You go.
quickly say something? Obviously, don't know as much as Adam when it comes to inner workings of things. I'm know a little bit, I guess, from he talks to me, and I'm more speaking as a fan. But I guess the things that I've taken out of it and the things that I've read on different places on the internet is the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Fans need to ask themselves why there's a big push on likable, recognizable faces instead of the people that are actually running this being the face of the ticket. That's all I'll say.
And the Leagues Club board doesn't necessarily mean there's changes to the Football Club board either. So,
And look at the Leagues Club. The Leagues Club's killing it. Fucking dollars and investments and like, yeah.
I'll come and say this now. I've got a problem with it, and we're gonna talk about this more on Tuesday night as well. But the problem I have is I'm trying to do this. If you've been to the Leagues Club, you know what runs the Leagues Club, and it's not the football fans. It's the pokey players. Now, yeah, this new board or this new ticket is what they're trying to do. They're obviously trying to get in and make it more about the football club. They want to make changes to the football club, and I don't think the NRL will allow that, first of all. But like I said, I'm always happy to hear them out, and that's why we'll have one of them on next Tuesday night as well. So I don't think it's going to work in that regard because they're not really appealing to, the right people.
we've got a special. Honestly, I didn't think he was on tonight. I didn't even ask to see if he was keen. But are you washed out or something, Jez? Or do you want to let the viewers know where you've been, first of all? And I know you've got some big news that I'll let you break. I don't want to be the one to break it.
Well, it's been fun. I'll tell you that. We're still playing football. All of our catch-up games are done. Thank goodness. We made the quarters. They won on Saturday. I didn't play because my wife was too busy having our second child. So we welcomed our second baby boy into the world on the 30th.
Love.
So it's been pretty fun. But that's why I'm a little bit late. Because
Mitchell
my
Moses, are you?
firstborn is now deciding that 9 o'clock is his time to go to bed. So what was that?
He missed that one.
Yeah, I was too busy talking when you were talking over me.
Sorry. Someone hasn't been getting much sleep. Look how grumpy he is. Mitchell Moses, are you?
Highlight Trav's comment. Highlight Trav's comment. He fucking nailed that. I'm glad someone got the Bourbon Bowl reference. Well done.
Give him some love in the comments. Another newborn. We all know what it's like. So well done, Jez. Hope everyone is safe. Hope everything is going well there. And everyone back at home yet? Or
well
still
as it can be. Yeah, everyone came home Monday.
Perfect.
So.
And you got us with your presents. What a surprise. I'm wrapped. This is great.
Let's go
back the curtain. Is this because Adam has threatened to talk about the Knights?
Yeah, he put something in the group chat about the Knights. I was like, I better get on here and defend. Defend the kingdom at all times, at all costs. Defend.
Can I give him another
let's
fun
move
fact?
on.
Just a little fact about this quickly while we can. So Jeremy had his child, I'm not going to say the name in case you don't want that revealed. Someone could stalk you or something. On the 30th, on Saturday the 30th, one of our good friends from school, Hayden, that's his birthday. What's even more scary about this is Hayden's son was born on the 30th to 6th, which is Jeremy's birthday. What are the odds of that, eh? That's like a full circle what the fuck moment, eh? When you think about it. I don't know if you've taken time to process that yet,
It's fully bizarre. I think I put it into the universe because I had, Hayden, how funny would it be if you lost your birthday to my son? Well, I didn't know we were having a son, but you lost your birthday to my baby and it happened. So we've done the pledge that the boys get that birthday for 30 years and then they have to give it back. So enjoy it for 30 years, lads, and then it's mine again. Well, I've only got to wait 28 years, so... Sucked in, Hayden.
Yes, Marcus. Jez is a Knights fan. The three of us are Para fans, unfortunately. So Jez has got some finals football potentially to look forward to, while the rest of us have a spoon to maybe look forward to. Let's get into some talking points. I talked way too much about Parramatta already. Latrell Mitchell, apparently this saga is still going on. He's gone to the NRL, and the NRL apparently declined it today, but now we're hearing news. It was on 360 tonight that apparently that might not be the case, and it's still going. So apparently what has been spoken about today and was confirmed initially is that he's now been confirmed his suspension will carry over to next year. He isn't classed as fit enough to play on the weekend, so it then carries over all the way. And apparently the NRL All-Stars game, which I thought he would just use and have it as his game, isn't actually going to be until at the end of next year, so he can't use that. Miko, I know you've been pretty voiceless in some comments. I've spotted you a few comments talking about this. What are you thinking about with this one?
I don't know what the hassle. Heaps of players have served suspension when they're fucking injured. Didn't Sevo have a 3-week suspension served earlier this year when he was injured? So what's the issue?
I think on-field suspensions and off-field suspensions are different. I think.
Everything's getting too messy. Like, we don't want Taylor May to serve his suspension next year, but we want Latrell to serve his suspension next year. Like, man, like the doctors say he's fit. He's fit. Even if he's not fit, I don't care. Let him. It's 1 week. I don't get what we're talking about it so much for. It's doing my head in a bit.
Because it's Latrell Mitchell. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's like tax. It's the Latrell Mitchell tax. That's why we're talking about it. I agree, Michael. Just get over and done with.
The
doctors say he's fit. He's fit.
Drug dealers sell cocaine. It's that easy.
Like, who's the NRL? Who's the NRL?
Oh, we did it again. Timing's off. That's how long it's been.
It has been.
Has it been confirmed that the incident happened this year, or was it like from a while back and it's only just resurfaced? Like how recent was the incident?
Has it been confirmed it was anything other than sugar? Or
no, because that's one of the problems. He's not coming out and admitting to things. He's trying to play dumb.
Maybe he was just feeling sick and needed something in his system real quick because he bought a house that day. Because you don't talk about that either. Like,
no, you do that in
public toilet.
So many different parts of this story, and then even more so, who are the NRL to decide all of a sudden when players are fit? NRL teams have been deciding that for the last 100 years. Now the NRL get to step in and say, no, he's not fit. Like, come on.
It's opened a real can of worms, not just in regards to that. But what's going to start happening now is teams are going to start listing players as indefinite. They're not going to put a time on it. They're not going to say he's out for the season. We're going to see a real thing now where they put indefinite in case anyone fucks up or does something stupid. And that's the way they made it go. I personally believe they could have just let Latrell serve it. So he's available round 1 next year. Let next year be a fresh start for the bloke who can't see him take a trick. Like, whether he did wrong or what he didn't do wrong, he didn't admit to it. Either did Kalen, and Kalen got away with it. But he's had a much better story, and it wasn't filmed what he was actually doing. But Latrell's missed enough footage this
holding his hair back.
Yeah, we're talking about someone who's meant to be one of the superstars of our game, and meant to be such an influential figure in like the Indigenous community. And he was out there doing some pretty good stuff, which has been overshadowed by what happened that night. And he's going to miss more football now. It's going to rob the fans of that, and young kids of watching one of their favourite players play. Just for what reason? Just to prove a point? Because a couple of people, e.g. Joel from League of Inches, threw up a story not agreeing with it.
What do you mean?
Oh.
What did I throw? What?
You said it was a can of worms. You're part of the media now.
Oh, apparently so. Look, it's the Freddie videos made me part of the media. Apparently, that freaking's gone off. Half the population's seen that video. I just think more so. I think it's got to the point where Latrell needs to take some accountability and responsibility for his actions. And you all said at the start, why do we keep talking about this and this guy? It's because he keeps doing it to himself. He keeps getting himself into these situations. And the one way we wouldn't speak about this and it wouldn't be an issue is if Latrell Mitchell didn't do what he did. It's simple. Like the end of the day, if we're all not dumb, we all know what he was doing, and it's classed as illegal. So we're talking about something that's illegal.
did he put himself in that situation though? He didn't take the photo and release it. He's got his face down looking at his
Drugs though.
stuff.
What do
Like,
you
How can
mean?
you
He
spin
did-
that? How can you spin that?
bent
Someone's
down.
behind the camera with a gun saying, snort this.
no, but hang on a minute. Fair enough. He's got his. He doesn't know she's taken the photo or he and sent it
But
out. Like,
he's still doing the wrong thing. He's still doing something
Yeah,
illegal.
It's
It's just that he got caught. It's in the
trusted the
headlines.
wrong
Latrell
people.
Mitchell.
hang on.
Did the wrong
Innocent
thing.
until proven guilty. You
Well,
can't assume he was doing it.
Might have been Sherbet.
Could have been Whiz Fizz.
Could've
Whiz fizz.
We've all done that.
Crushed up Panadol, man. Those headaches get bad out there. Or sinus medication is very dusty at Dubbo.
Now, you put that up your bum, it works faster.
Maybe he was allergic to the animals at the zoo. Maybe he
Yeah.
went to the zoo and he got bad hay
Telfar.
Hay
fever.
fever season.
Telfar.
Spring
And
has
maybe
sprung.
some cocaine is the only thing that would help that. I mean, sorry, some hay fever tablets.
Zyrtec.
Yeah.
Zyrtec.
I still think, like, jokes aside, we know what he was doing, and yes, he shouldn't have been put himself in that situation, whatever. Like, I probably have a little bit of a looser stance on this because I just think every fucking man and his dog does this, and I just think whatever. Like, I went to the races a couple of years ago, and we were near the rich people area, and I was just getting blind on me beers, and there was more rich people in the toilets doing that shit than there was at the bar. Like, it's insane. But anyway, but still, some aim needs to go at the people that take these photos for money and sell them without people knowing and shit. Like,
Of course. Absolutely. Think of our
Yes.
heroes from back
Well
yesteryear.
reported.
How many of them would be thrown under the bus if mobile phones were a thing back then?
Well,
Like,
Joey
that's-
wouldn't be an immortal.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Exactly.
Well, he would have
There'd be
been, 'cause
many
they knew
more
he
that
got
would
the
come
gear
out of the
anyway.
woodwork. Yep. I agree,
Um,
Michael. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. You think you're with trusted people, or you think you're with people that there's always that mum that would be like, come and have your drinks at our house. It's safe. I'd rather you do it at our place
Yeah.
where it's safe, not out in public. That's gone now because everyone's just got their phone out and they're just waiting
And
for
then
you to slip up.
there's the mum who wants to distribute that his son plays for another rugby league team wearing the number 7 also from that area.
Yes.
allegedly.
Yes. Allegedly.
Adam's got some things to get off his chest tonight, it feels like, guys. So
But-
he's just getting warmed up.
He has announced that he's playing Curry Cup, Curry Knockout.
Yeah.
And he announced
So
his
he's
team,
fit.
which
Fit.
I don't know, can't remember.
Yeah, so he is fit. He's playing for Taree, not Newcastle this year. Or something like
Was very strong.
The last point as well, he was injured at this time. He's a professional athlete. Not a good mix. Injured, drinking,
Recovery?
and allegedly drugs. So it's not good, and it hampers with recovery, which if he's a professional athlete, he should know that. But anyway, here we go. Question time. After they verse each other on the weekend, we've seen the Dogs versus Manly Sea Eagles. Manly getting the win there. Obviously, the Dogs were without Crichton, and it's made me think about who come into the finals if but either team was to lose their key man. So for the Bulldogs, Stephen Crichton, and for Manly, Turbo. Who would be the bigger loss at the moment? Because I tell you what, I was watching that on Friday night, and I was just straight away thought the Dogs were a completely different team. And I thought a lot of it, I know they had a bit of travel and stuff the last few weeks, but I thought a lot of it had to do with Stephen Crichton not on the field. I think he's been enormous for him this year. I personally would go as far as saying I think he's actually more valuable to the Dogs this year than Turbo is to Manly, because I think Manly have some decent depth this year to overcome that. Luke Brooks has stepped up, especially the last few weeks. He's back to that early season form. DCE, we all know he can do it on the big stage, so I'm not too worried at all about him. So I'm putting my vote to Critter. Jez, who are you thinking is more important?
Well, I think Crichton. I think Crichton's more important to the Bulldogs, and only because Manly have been doing it without Turbo for so long. He came out and he wanted to take a pay cut because of it, which is another can of worms to open. I don't know if you did that one last week, but
No, not yet.
yeah, I think Critter is a more of an impact player and makes more of a difference to that team than Turbo, but just purely on the past and Manly doing it without him for so long.
Mika, what do you got?
I'm going the other way. I'm going Turbo. I saw today that Manly's percentage without him is like 32% or something ridiculous. whereas the Dogs' percentage without Crichton is much, much higher. It's like up in the 60s or some shit. So I just think the position too that they play, fullbacks probably, and the way that Manly play fullbacks probably a bit more important to them than Crichton is at centre. However, just a little tidbit on that. I saw a comment from a good friend of mine the other day discussing Crichton and stuff, and I don't think Penrith win those 2 grand finals against South or Brisbane without Critter's performance. They still beat Parramatta because they flogged us. But Critter had as big a part in those grand finals as Cleary did. So he's a massive player, but I just think in the way those two teams are, I think Manly are going to miss Turbo more.
To be fair, Turbo's been huge.
FYI. He broke through the line and scored the first try.
I know, but I still think whether he plays or not, they still are going to beat us. Yeah. Because the Dogs game's built on defence, not attack, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. We've seen a Manly team with Turbo be sitting pretty close to the top of the table, looking like a premiership threat in previous years, and when he's got injured, go to absolute shit. And not just in seasons, in games. Like every game against Parramatta once where they were killing us, and I believe that's when he first did his shoulder. He went off and we come back and beat him, and yeah, they're nothing without him. I'm sorry, but like Daly's obviously a great game manager, but they haven't got that. Well, I'm going to say it. They haven't got that X factor without Turbo at fullback. You look at their team, and Terry Evans, great kicker, but 36. Luke Brooks playing his first finals game in a couple of weeks, and not really a big name hooker either. You take Turbo out of that spine, it's a pretty fucking ordinary spine.
Cooler did a good job at the end of last year at fullback, so I feel like he can do another decent job for him. But apparently Turbo's back come finals. I'm just saying hypothetically, they are both missing for their teams for whatever reason. I haven't done this before, but Jez brought it up. A good little point where I think it's worth spending a couple of minutes on from last week, and he hasn't been around, so let's do one for Jez. This can of worms, this second can of worms for the night. Goodness me, this is the can of worms episode. This Turbo one. So obviously last week he came out and apparently walked into the Manly office and said, I want to take a pay cut and give back to this club because I've been getting injured and I'm not giving you value for money. So fair enough if that's what's happened. There is talk around, and every time NRL360 talk about this, it's like they know something that we don't, and they sort of second guess this and go, do you actually think that's what happened? Or Manly's tapped him on the shoulder and they're trying to reword it because he's such a Manly player. What are your thoughts on this one, Jez? I'll let you start it off because your point, you're up here.
Well, when it first came out, I thought, well, he's a good bloke. Like that's just what he does, and I thought that makes sense. So if a player could do that and say, I want to take a pay cut, I want to pay it back to the club. I wanted to say thank you for sticking by me. I'm Manly through and through. But then it wasn't until Michael put in the chat, he's like, no. You can't be doing that because his market value is not of that of the pay cut. And then you'd be getting other clubs be going, oh, well, Jerome Hughes is only worth this much because he said so. So we're only going to pay him this much. And it can just really explode. So on the surface level, you think, far out, he's a good bloke. Yeah, that makes sense. Why can't he do that? But then when you think about it more and it gets pointed out to you, you go, probably not.
I can't say it any better than what you've said, boys. Can you add anything to what Jez has said? I reckon he's hit the nail on the head. It can't happen.
This all started like this whole market value thing started when Israel Folau wanted to leave AFL. Funny enough, the club he wanted to come to was Parramatta, and all they wanted to do was sign him for a certain amount of games for the rest of the year on a reduced pay packet, what they could fit into their cap. And the NRL said, no, he's got to be market value. You can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Now, if they're not going to allow a bloke who's been out of the game for whatever he was out for 2 years to come back and be on reduced money, and he could have been shit, like there's other players that left, like Valentine Holmes, for example. I think they had the same thing there. He went across to NFL and come back to the Cowboys and was forced to sign for what he was on at Cronulla, even though his whole body could have been screwed, his muscles from a different game. So it set the standard there. As much as I love Turbo, if they allowed this, Manly could get the whole family in there, all three of them, and they'd agree to take a pay cut and mow the grass. That's the kind of blokes they are. So it's, they've got to set a precedence here. But I'm a big
Slippery
fan of
slope.
players who are injury prone. If you want to run the risk on them, I'm a big fan of things like match payments and coming out the cap. You take that risk. If you allow $600,000 for Turbo, the NRL say, okay, he's worth this much a game based on injuries, and then he has an injury-free year and they can't afford to play him at the end of the year or breach a salary cap. That's the risk they've taken.
I think, it's a very slippery slope, and I don't believe for a second that he went to them in good faith and said, "I've been injured. Give me a pay cut." I don't believe that for a second. There's been a lot of people in that room.
How do you know that? This is allegedly again.
bloke.
You reckon you're in a room with someone doing
I'm not-
cocaine? I heard he did that after he was out the front handing out blankets to the homeless sleeping outside of Brookvale.
I'm not saying it
I
didn't
heard
happen.
he
I'm saying,
mentioned it at a soup kitchen that he volunteers at every second Sunday.
I don't
That's after
believe
church,
that's
of
how.
course.
Yeah.
After
I reckon
church.
there was plenty of people involved in we're in fucking serious salary cap dramas here. What can we fucking do? They can't do it. They cannot do it at all. They set the precedent with Israel Folau. St. George got away with it with Mark Gasnier once. They signed him for $50K the first year he came back, and it was a massive back-ended deal, and then he retired, and they never had to pay him the rest of it. So they got away with it, and that's why NRL stood so strong on Israel Folau, for those who don't remember, because it was years ago. And at the time, we were all blowing up, and it happened with Valentine, and so they've stuck by it each time. So the NRL can't, because they just know it's such a slippery slope. Like, there has to be some kind of, and I think they work it out on a percentage. You've got to pay them within a certain percentage of whatever their market value is deemed at or some shit. So I think they've got it right, and I think if they didn't do that, it's a massive slope.
When does a player drop value, though? Like, let's look at it with other sports. Transfer fees with soccer players, someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, worth $200 million, end up going somewhere for about $38 million or something. Nothing to be sneezed at, right? But when does a player drop value and what's got to happen? Have they got to start playing poorly? Because we're going to look at this, obviously, Tom's had a lot of injury. How old's Tom? Does anyone know? 29, 30?
Yeah, late 20s, I'm pretty sure.
When does it get to a point that he drops value, or has it got to be that, other clubs come in and say, oh, we'll only give you 600,000, then Manly go, we can give you 650, the NRL approve it. Because Gutho, the same thing's going to happen with Gutho at Parramatta. If Parramatta decide to sign Gutho in 2026, he's currently on 850, 900,000. He's going to be worth about 550, 600 with his aging body and his way he's gotten slow. Are they going to allow that?
Yeah, but I guess it depends on what you're right. Like, what a majority of clubs are going to offer that player. Like, there's so many clubs that will still offer Turbo big money. So that's what they've got to go with. I'm sure there'd be some way they've figured it out. But
it's 27. Still got a couple of years to go.
He's only 27.
Yeah, he's in the prime. He's in his prime still. We're missing some of Turbo's best years. It sucks as an NRL fan because we know how good he is. And I love him as a bloke. You've all said, like, I hope this is true and he did go and say this sort of stuff. It's very questionable, though. Like, the way some people who I feel like are in the know have reacted anytime they've spoken about this just makes you go, it's not sitting right with me. But I just don't think there's too many clubs out there too smart with this. If the NRL operated it this way, they would dominate the market. Like, it would be ridiculous.
I do think that Manly haven't got his. I do think Manly haven't got their value for money yet off him, though.
But no.
I will say that.
Good night.
Let's just say this: if Manly did offer him 600,000, that gets out. They've offered him 600,000. He's happy to sign for that. How many clubs are going to test him and approach him with an $800,000 offer or a $750,000 offer?
Every single club.
Exactly right. Club. So that's, I know he's probably sitting there waiting for Manly to get approval on the NRL, and he's probably doing something like cleaning out the showers in the change rooms or scrubbing the toilets at corporate. But this is kind of like he is. Anyway. But
he's good.
He might get a phone call as he's about to sign that deal.
Yeah, he's all right. SJ, Shawnee Johnson obviously played his last NRL game on the weekend. It was a movie script. He ended up throwing the final pass to win the Warriors the game. Where do we rank him amongst the Kiwi greats, however? There's been when I actually sat down and had to think about this, there's been some good Kiwi players over the years, and it's very hard to rank them all and throw SJ in there, but I'm asking everyone to do that. Adam, where you got SJ amongst the Kiwi greats, past, present, that we've seen?
He wasn't as good as Ben Roberts in his Parramatta era, that's for sure. So I've got to rank him below that. Who else has been? Yeah, he's up there. I'd have Stacey Jones ahead of him still. I think Stacey Jones, he kind of pioneered the game for not just Kiwi players, but also for, the little guy, because he was such a tiny little player and he probably had more width than he did height, and he played a completely different game. Sean Johnson, to me, in his early days, he brought a new style to play that was kind of like that touch that him and Benji both had. And we just had, he reminded me a lot of Benji, but with a bit more direction. But Benji didn't have that directional plays and that game control when he first came in that Sean had. It was kind of his undoing a lot of the time as well. Like, we saw him go to Cronulla and he couldn't fit into that style when he was at Cronulla. So I think if he spends his whole career at New Zealand and plays his whole style at New Zealand the whole time without that Cronulla period, he could be number one. I've got him number 2 below Stacey. One more thing I want to touch on is how good his missus' sign was in the crowd. That was absolutely brilliant. The fact that that's a cultural thing over there, like the Warriors fans get behind that with the signs. He 100% got the Hock tour when he finished that game as well. He's not got even better.
100%. Mika, where are you ranking SJ?
Yeah, what Adam said about Stacey's spot on in SJ. I really enjoyed SJ last year. I felt like his whole career, he kind of didn't have that whole game management thing down pat, but last year he absolutely nailed it. So I'm kind of surprised that he's probably hasn't had such a solid year this year, and I didn't actually expect him to retire this year either. I thought he still had probably 1 year to go, but I guess when you know, you know. So yeah, I had Stacey. I feel like Stacey's probably a bit more consistent. That's probably what SJ lacks, consistency over his career. But a lot of that would have had to do with when he moved to Cronulla and changing game plans and whatnot. Although he had a pretty good fucking year at Cronulla too until he did his. Is that when he did his Achilles? He was having a really good year that year too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but yeah, just beyond Stacey due to we'll go consistency and whatnot.
Can we address this guy? Can we address this guy?
Go on, quickly, go on.
Grab his hat again.
First of all, wanker.
Put it on before you enter.
At least some of us pick our team, and some of our pick a team sick. Now, this bloke's a Knights fan that ended up spending some time at Melbourne where he got chipped over the top of by Jonathan Thurston in a big game, in a testimonial game, then left Melbourne. So he still supports Melbourne, yet he supports Newcastle as well. So he's guaranteed he's got the first place team and the team currently in A. So the question to you, Matt, is: are you going to stick with your head, your heart, or what are you going to do? Who are you supporting in the finals next week?
Leave him alone. He's got to focus on Maitland. They got, what is it, this week? They got off, so they got 2 more games to win. Just let him fucking focus on that and leave him alone.
Mickey, your camera angle tonight's actually tripping me out sometimes. It's great. I love it. I don't know where he's coming from.
Been rocking it this time.
Very sorry, Matt. You support whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. Love you. Long time. There you go.
Jez, where do you rank SJ?
Top 4.
Yeah.
Stacey Jones is clearly number 1. I just remember him and Joey going head to head multiple times, and he was the only other one that was kind of in conversation when it come to halfbacks and being that sort of player. So Stacey Jones is definitely number 1. I thoroughly enjoyed watching Sonny Bill Williams and the whole hype about him coming back. I thought that was pretty phenomenal. SBW, OMG. That was their whole campaign for a year. It was fantastic. Ruben Wiki was another fantastic New Zealand rugby league player. So, and then, of course, Benji Marshall. So I definitely have him up there with those names. But Stacey Jones, if anyone can remember the 12th Man CD when he was going through the New Zealand names, that one's hard to say. He's definitely number 1.
I agree. I've got him top 4. I feel like, look, he inspired a lot of players, especially from that touch background, to come over and try the hand and sort of change the way a lot of playmakers did play. Stacey Jones, number 1, as all of you basically do. Ruben Wiki, as Jez pointed out. I've got Benji as well, and I've got Sean Johnson. I feel like they're pretty much on par, both Benji and Sean Johnson. I agree with what Adam was saying about them. They're very similar players. I just feel like Benji just slightly ahead of SJ in the slightest of margins.
Do you think Benji was more consistent in SJ of his career, though? Like, Benji had some pretty shit years. When you think of
Yeah.
it, St. George time was
Yeah.
terrible. His time back at the Tigers again, terribly. Like we've touched on before, his coaching legacy could obviously affect his career with the Tigers again as well. But like he had those good years where they won the comp and he was freakish then. But as soon as the game changed, I don't think Benji adapted to it. He went to rugby and come back and struggled. Sean Johnson has changed with the game changing. It's changed a lot more in his career as well.
You're talking about consistent Kiwis at the moment too. Like Jerome Hughes has got a and his career's not even over yet. You know, so there's another one that could be up there.
He could
What about
be
Manu Vatuvai? What's he up to these days?
Manu Vatuvai.
doing talks and stuff. Might get him on the channel soon. While I got a bit of free time, give him an interview.
I
See if
found
he
the
remembers his time at Perth Stadium.
I found the
Isn't
script.
he, I don't think you're going to be talking to him unless you've got a phone that goes behind bars.
He's not.
Jordan
He's not behind bars.
Jordan
Isn't he?
Rapana.
No, that's all done and dealt with. He's apologised and everything, and he's out a better, cleaner man.
Can we talk about our
fair
most
enough.
hated New Zealander? Jordan Rapana.
Yeah, Rapana.
He's
You said it.
Rapana.
He's the biggest flog in the NRL.
Closely followed by Nelson Sofa Solomona, who's a weak.
I was going to say
dog.
Nelson's up there. Nelson's
I like
number
Nelson.
one for me.
So I
They've had
found the
some
script
buckets over the
for
years, haven't
the
they?
for the 12th man thing. So the props, will he tell you LOI and he'll only ever lie to Lou? The second rowers, I nearly had a nookie and only if she found my wiener. The lock is lighting up a bunger. The halfback is Stacey Jones. No, I don't know how to fucking spell it. The 5'8 is why is he wearing a silly toupee? The centers, Francis Smelly and so too's Italy. The wingers, I really want to poo-poo and what a pity we're out of paper. The fullback, really to what a slipper a tonguey. The reserves are Jerry see you. I see you too, Jerry. Want any tomato? No, I'm okay, tar. He'll only ever feel a titty, and she's silly to allow him.
He did that way too well, like he's practiced it. Is that what you've been
Yeah,
doing with your
but-
time off? Just practicing that?
I had that CD on repeat. I loved the 12th man. So good.
Yeah.
That's
These
all
fucking
time.
cars.
That is all time. How can I go off that? That was brilliant. I'm in tears.
That needs to be screen recorded. That needs to be screen recorded and posted as a separate video tomorrow for sure.
I'll be getting that one out there for sure. All right, we're going to talk about. There's obviously some huge games this weekend. Spend a little bit of time before we answer some of your questions to start getting them in as well. We're actually just going to talk about the games this weekend and obviously the last round. So last time we'll talk about a lot of these teams until we do a bit of a season review on a few of them. First up, the Thursday game, Broncos versus the Storm up at Suncorp Stadium. Storm heavy favourites, deservedly so. I won't spend much time on this one. It's pretty straightforward. I feel like I got the Storm in this one. Jez?
Yeah, Storm, lots of ins, lots of big ins. They're gonna hit the ground running.
Adam?
I don't get why they put everyone back in. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I reckon they could have won this game with their team last week. They competed with the Cowboys team, and Brisbane really don't have much to play for. So yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me. But yeah, Melbourne will win that game.
Is this got to do a little bit with last year? Because they rested everyone in the last round. Then didn't they lose the first week of finals? And Craig said he'll probably do things differently this year. And now they have. So he wants to have everyone hitting the ground running, basically. So, Mika?
I actually thought they were going to rest the resting players. Like they're going to rest the players who got rested and go to the next lot of resting players. And Matt Topolula might have finally got another call up.
Is he in the top 30?
Mickey, you did
yeah.
a lot of nodding there. Well, who are you tipping?
Yeah, Melbourne. And what you're right. There was an article with Bellamy where he said he trying to correct mistakes he made last year by resting him in the last round. He wants them in and ready to go. Otherwise, there'd be some players that wouldn't have played footy for like 3 weeks or some shit before the finals, which he doesn't want to do again.
Tell you what, the Broncos have had a shitty season, and this could just be a huge slap in the face. This could be a cricket score. There's not going to be much of that, I don't think. Thursday night. Friday, unfortunately, it's been labelled Spoon Bowl. Tigers against the Eels, Campbelltown Sports Stadium. Para are favourites, just $1.60
spoon or the
to
win?
about $2.20 for the win. So Tigers a favourite for the spoon. Mika, who have you got for this one?
Parramatta, confidently. I think we'll get them well. I think the first 20 minutes will be quite tight, and I think we'll get them.
Adam, who you got?
I'm really confused with this. We're playing for the spoon bowl, right? But is the loser the winner or is the winner the loser?
The loser gets the prize.
That's the one thing I don't get. Like, if you lose, you get the spoon, so you're the winner of the spoon bowl. But if you win, all you do is come 16th. So I think I want to lose and get the spoon bowl win because it's such a hype thing. But no, really. Parramatta actually played well in round 27, when we had round 26. You go back and look at some of their games in the last rounds, they usually turn up and give their fans a bit of hope for the year after, only to crush and disappoint them halfway through the year as usual. I think Parramatta have been playing well enough. They just haven't put together an 80-minute performance. The Tigers having that week off when they started to hit some form would usually be a good thing, having that week off, but they actually started to play quite well. So I think Parramatta will do them quite comfortably.
Jez, the neutral. Who you got?
Well, I'm hoping for a bit more of a spectacle than Parramatta just doing them. I think Parramatta will win, but far out, I hope it's a shootout at the end, just to make it real spoon bowl. Just live up to the hype of it all. I think that would be fantastic. It was really funny seeing the interview with Appy Coruscant going from winning the grand final to potentially winning the spoon. I just love that because do you remember the post grand final thing that he did? He's like, won't be getting many of these at the Tigers next year. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You are absolutely right. Yeah. And I also just don't like David Clemmer. So go Para.
Ooh. There you go. Respect you, David Clemmer. If you want to come on the show and have a right of reply, you're welcome to.
Every time the Knights lost, he would storm off the field when everyone else just had the gusto to go and sign signatures and say hello to the fans, where he was just so pissy and would walk off. And he was probably one of the only ones that I saw do it. So not holding a grudge, but it's just like, you fit in at the Tigers, dude.
Well, that's the majority of the current Parramatta playing group. So we know what you feel like there. They just wander off straight away. I got the Tigers winning this one. I feel like at Campbelltown. Very
of course you fucking do.
Mate, I actually I hope it's to kick up the ass that the club needs and it forces a bit more changes that I think
you'll be joining the Make Parramatta again brigade soon, won't you?
I'll make my own one. I'm good. I'm declaring it now on live on air. I'll make my own ticket. They can all go and get stuffed. So
he's a 50% share already.
Talking Parra's backing me, and I'm going in. I'm going it. South Sydney versus the Roosters, normally a huge rivalry game, but I think South cannot wait to get to Bali on Monday. The Roosters are a bit on eggshells here. I want to get your tips, but I also want you to let me know if you're completely writing the Roosters off for this season as a premiership contender as well. Adam, I'll get your thoughts for this game and then the Roosters as well.
Well, I'll just answer it in one straight answer. The Roosters will win this game. It'll be the last game of the year they win.
Ooh, there you go. Jezza, you got?
Well, I was in a similar vein. So I don't think I can articulate it any better. So I agree with Adam.
Mika, you're going to be different?
Sorry, Jesse.
So they've got
shout out to you, Jesse.
Stand and Smith playing halfback, Keary 5'8". Does everyone remember when Keary owned that grand final and Cooper Cronk just pretty much stood there and did fuck all? Maybe they'll pull a Swifty like that again.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Cooper Cronk standing beside him.
Yeah, that was when Keary was a bit more confident as well.
Just go straight to Keary, I don't know. Look,
less head knocks.
Yeah, I think they'll beat South. But Jesus, I had them in the grand final with Melbourne pretty much all this year. And I can't see them making it now. That's a big ask.
I think the Roosters win it. I'm shocked that they did not rest basically majority of this playing group. They're going to make the top four. I'm just shocked that they haven't rested more players. After the huge injury blows that they got on the weekend, if I would have shit myself if I was the coach and just gone, Teddy, you're sitting out. Joey Manu, go and have a rest. I literally would have rested the squad. So credit to them. They're going to keep battling on, I guess, and trying to make something work. I'm surprised they've gone for Sandon Smith. I probably would have had him on the bench, but I wouldn't have had him at 7. I would have put Kiri there, and I would have put Joey Manu to 5'8" and let Joey Manu basically tell him to get his hands on the ball as much as possible, because I still rate him as one of the better players in this competition. I just think he's been a bit quiet lately, and Tedesco's probably run the show. Normally would probably say a bit too much, but I think Teddy's been really good this year, so he's played really well within that role. But I would just like to see Joey Manu do a bit more, and I would have handed in the 6 jersey, and I would have given Roosters a bigger chance than I don't like the Sanders Smith and Luke Keary combination.
Yeah, because it's too similar to Brandon Smith. Really good. He needs to get his own name.
Connor need to change. That should be one of the things when they signed Brandon Smith. He should have changed his name.
That's right. I think Connor at 9 will do well. Like Connor at 9 is still pretty solid. And, can
someone explain to me the golden
not 8? As solid as Connor in Bali.
What's the golden number 8 that Souths wear? There's a big thing, and I just couldn't be bothered clicking on the article, but
it's paying respect to, I think it's Ron Coote. I think he was the 8.
Yeah. Okay.
So from him winning
one game around, they do it.
Oh no, they're just doing it for this game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
it was the Immortals.
Love that. Save the click. Hashtag. Good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. Well, this one could be a potential top 8 spot if the unthinkable happens in the last game of this round and they draw. I don't think that's going to happen. But the Dragons against the Raiders. Dragons have thrown their final spot away from last week, getting embarrassed by Parramatta 44 points to 40. I still can't get over that scoreline. Who have we got in this one? Who do we think wins it and has the slightest of chances of making the 8, Jez?
I think Dragons bounce back. I think they do. That could just be my hatred for Canberra coming out, but I think
fuck you, Ricky. Fuck you, Ricky.
Yeah, I just want to see his press conference post game and blame the officials for why they lost. But no, I think the Dragons bounce back after last week. That was pretty bizarre. What happened?
Yeah, Mick, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going Dragons. Well, I thought they kind of bounced. Traditionally, when you get beat by 40, you fucking have a bounce back. I thought they did that at the end of the game. But the reason I'm going to pick, yeah, they've had their bounce back. But I'm gonna still stick with Dragons because they would have got a fucking serve, an absolute bacon off Flanagan. But also, I think the amount of defense that the Raiders did at the end of that game and how hard they had to work, I just think that'll catch up with them.
Adam?
So,
Rugby League, the storyline. I've got a draw just to rule out the draw in the other game. No, I've actually got Canberra winning this game. And all Canberra have to do is win this game by about 120, I believe. They win the game by about 120. It doesn't matter. They just need Newcastle to win by 20 and they're in anyway. But look, Canberra have beaten Penrith and then the Roosters last week. So actually in quite some good form. We've seen some stuff come out about Ben Hunt and Shane Flanagan having some words after the game against Parramatta because their season essentially ended and Ben Hunt was terrible in that game. Ben Hunt could be backing Suki Lala wants to leave mode now, and I don't think he'll turn up to play. I don't think he's going to be in the right place on Saturday. I think Canberra will actually run away with this.
I actually think Ben Hunt's been disappointing for a number of weeks now for the Dragons. There's been a few games where his kicking game's been completely off and he's just sort of, I know, just the best version of himself hasn't been there. I think it's ironic because, as he said last year, he wanted to leave and go play for a team that's playing finals football. And I don't want to single him out, but I feel like a lot of it has to do with him. The reason why the Dragons aren't going to be playing finals football this year. I think when they needed him the most, he didn't step up this year. So I want to tip the Dragons, but Mick is leading the tipping comp, so I need to do a few different teams. I'm going to go the Raiders just to try and claw something back with him.
Don't do that, though, because every time I go for an upset, just to be different, it just doesn't work.
It's the last round. We may as well do something. It may as well. I actually think Rapana's a huge loss for the Raiders. So I like how they've played the last couple of weeks, but I know we all hate Rapana, but I think he's huge for that team, and he just gets them up somehow, and they all love playing with him. So
that warranted.
Yeah. Good luck. I hope the Raiders can get it up, and I'll get a tip on Mika. I think I need 3 this week, so we'll see what happens.
Mate,
Doggies
every
against.
different combo I'm in. You got no chance.
Oh, good on you. Good work. Bulldogs versus the Cowboys. Bulldogs slight favourites in this one at a core stadium, so Cowboys got to do a bit of travel. Both looking to bounce back after. Oh, look, the Cowboys won, but I reckon it was a defeat. They all just got past a second string Melbourne Storm outfit. Who we got for this one? I'll go Mika first.
Say that again. I missed it.
Doggies versus Cowboys.
Dragons. Not Dragons.
I'm going Doggies. I think they'll get there after the disappointment of last week. I think they'll defend better than the Cowboys will. So yeah, Doggies. I think Cowboys have. I still think they've kind of overachieved this year. I'm still not on them.
We've been saying that since like round 2.
I know. I know. And then I saw a thing the other day, like it was about the Dogs, and it was like I think in the last 11 rounds they've only played 3 top 8 teams or something. And they got shut up last week and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I still think their defense is and the way they fight for each other in defense has been massive for them. So I just think they'll defend better again this week, and I think they'll get the Cowboys.
Adam, who you got?
I think the Dogs had the loss they needed last week. I think they'll win this game. I think the Cowboys will drop down to 7th. And I think the Dogs will go on a bit of a run after this. I think just with those Roosters injuries in Melbourne there, Penrith obviously without Cleary back and Cronulla still just doing Cronulla things. There's a big chance that one of these teams outside the top 4 in that, 4th to 8th position can actually do something this year. I know it, hasn't been a long time. I don't think any team in this system has one from outside the top 4, have they? So I think it could be the Cowboys or Manly. The Bulldogs or Manly. I don't see the Cowboys being a genuine threat. So I'm leaning more towards the Bulldogs with that run, but I think 6th or 7th is a good place to finish because you're going to play the Roosters in round 2, obviously limping with injuries. So tactics may be at play here. But if they do that, they could obviously risk dropping down to 7th as well and playing Manly at Brookvale. So
look out. That's a big one, big bold prediction there. Jez, who you got for this one? And just
Bulldogs.
quickly before you answer, Cowboys are down their assistant coach who has obviously been sacked for drink driving. Shout out to you, Jimmy Maloney. If you want to come on the podcast and have a chat, now you got a bit more time.
That's breaking news. I didn't hear about that.
See
that
how
happened
we're
today.
not driving?
Yeah, we're not driving.
We're finished. We're at home.
Responsible. So
Where's he going, Joel?
I'm going to try and hard drive the misses.
Adam wants to say a
Jesus.
joke here, but I'm not going to let him do it because I've heard it about 20 times in the last 24 hours and I'm over it. So, Jez, please move us on.
Don't tell her I said that.
Responding to what Michael said and thinking I need to give Kira a heads up message. Bulldogs, and I like the narrative of them going on a run. I think they're going to do this game pretty comfortably and just kind of fire a bit of a warning shot across the competition leading into finals. So I might need a finals team come what happens on the weekend. So the Bulldogs are definitely one of them, but I think Storm's going to be my finals team if the Knights aren't there. But Bulldogs on the run.
Safe bet.
Have faith.
Safe bet.
Have faith, Jez. We
It's
haven't
not
got to
because of
that
Green
game yet.
Anderson, local boy, good dude.
Crichton's back. Doggies win. That's all I have to say on that one. Next game is simple. Penrith versus the Titans in Penrith. Penrith by whatever you want to. Whatever
Titans are
you
a team
want
on
to
the up.
Well, they are, but not for this one. They're done. They've sent half their team to get surgery, so they've given up. They're all off to get inked up. Probably that's their surgeries. I think we're all happy to.
The drums didn't help them this year, did they, Joel?
No, drums apparently no. If you continue to ban opposition fans to create an atmosphere at your home ground, then a bit of karma, I feel like. Stop
Is there much
starting it.
atmosphere at a Titans home game?
There is when the away fans make it.
That whistle was loud last week for the Roosters game. That whistle they had going you could hear that. So anyway, we're all happy with Penrith, nodding our heads. Boom,
Yeah.
done. Sunday, this one, I'm actually looking forward to this game. Manly versus the Sharkies. Turbo-less Manly, obviously, but the Sharkies have Nico back at halfback now, not 5'8". Yeah, they're quickly becoming very hated, the Titans. It's not going well for them. What the changes they're doing is doing the opposite to what I think they want to achieve. So unlucky. Manly, I'll go Manly. I think Manly at home at Brookie would be too strong for the Sharkies. Adam, what do you got?
I don't get the jersey change. I don't get why they've done it just to put Hines back in a 7. I know he played in a 22, whatever it was last week, but played 5'8". It was weird. It was actually super weird. Like, I thought, Trindle was all about higher numbers, but apparently he wants a lower number this time. But I'm tipping Michael hasn't got it yet. Everyone else has got it.
Maloney's going to Cronulla. Come on.
But
Stuff.
Manly, I'm tipping Manly this one just because of what they're playing for. Cronulla, what do they need to lose by and the Dogs to win by to drop out of the top 4? Actually, it's doable.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
If Manly put 30 on and the Dogs win by 30 or 40, it's doable, but I don't think it will happen. I think Cronulla will lose the game, but Manly will just win.
I think the Dogs are stronger than the Sharkies. So for mine, the Dogs are more warranted a top 4 spot than the Sharkies. Jez, who you got for this one?
Manly. The rot starts now for the Sharks. They're done. The old classic Sharks finals, they're done.
Big games come up and the Sharkies go straight sets. Mika, what do you got?
Yeah, it's that Brookie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's
four
Manly.
points.
Oh, whatever. Fuck. I'd tip.
Shout out to you, 4 points.
Drink responsibly.
Yeah. Although that shit that Adam got me on was pretty good. What's that? The pub squash, the vodka? Yeah, didn't mind that.
It's Brookvale Union. Yeah, it's owned by 4 points.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it's 4 points, isn't it? Yeah. I went Manly, despite the fact that Turbo's out, because I'm the same as Jez. I think the Sharks just get to this point every year and cave. Even if they finish top 4, I reckon they'll be out week 2. So, yeah, I'm going Manly. They've put some really, really, really good performances on at Brookvale on a Sunday arvo this year, and I can't see that.
What island you mean now?
The one near the wall.
Guys. Have we got any Manly fans
on the north?
Look
Is
out
the
for
one,
Turbo.
did you fall down the hill at Manly? Was that one?
Like
Nah, that's
I like that.
That's like
Love these suburban grounds. They just get mixed up into all of them.
If any Manly
still
fans
got
are going,
got a concussion from it.
I can't get it out. It doesn't matter. The moment's gone.
It's gone. All right. Now, this is the one that Adam has wanted to talk about now for an hour and 10 minutes. He's waited patiently. Newcastle versus the Dolphins, fins up. This is the one I feel like there will be 8th spot will be decided on this game. There will not be a draw, so it'll be between these two. Adam, take it away. Jez, get ready for a reply.
Honestly, no, let's be honest. How are they playing for 8th spot? I've got their wins here since round 9, right? They've beaten the Warriors 13th. They've beaten the Tigers twice, who are in 17th. The Titans twice, who are in 14th. Parramatta, who are in 16th. Canberra, who are in 11th. And South Sydney, who are in 15th. That is their win since round 9. Now, if you want to look back through it, right? Now, they've had, how many wins was that, guys? Can we do some simple maths? That's 2, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 wins. Out of how many wins have they had this year, Jeremy?
Don't know. This is your segment.
11.
They're on 28. They're on 28 points. So
yeah, they've had 11 wins.
2 buys, whatever it is.
Yeah, they've had 11 wins. I know the answer.
2 buys, 3 buys.
3
buys.
Yeah, what is it these
they've
days?
had 3 buys,
3.
right? Yeah. So if you want to look through it, they've had 3 buys. They've had 2 of those buys at the back end of the years. Now, the games I've just said they've won, who they've been beaten by on this run home, right? They've been beaten by Cronulla 19-18 in Cronulla's terrible game. Beaten by Penrith 22-14 with Penrith having Edwards out, Cleary out. Cleary out, I think he was. They've been beaten by Brisbane 30-14 at home. Smashed by Manly 44-6. Beaten by Penrith again. Beaten by Melbourne. Smashed by the Bulldogs, right? So the only games they've won, if you want to go the first 9 rounds, They beat a Melbourne team without Pappenhausen, without Munster, and without Hughes, right?
Easy.
They beat St. George, which everyone was beating St. George back then. And the only other game they won is against the Dolphins, who they now play for a second time. There needs to be an investigation and a fair draw because they've been touched on the dick to use and grow with a run home. And they've had an easy run home, and now they're playing for a final spot that they don't deserve. They've got a minus 48 for and against. They've beaten a bunch of nobodies, and they've been smashed by the teams in the top 8. If they play finals football, the Dogs will Coffs Harbour them.
Is Thurston going to be on the sideline commentating that or what?
Oh,
Like he was back in Coffs Harbour.
Let's take this one.
Lockyer as well, just getting ready to throw zingers.
Goodness, tell us you hate the Knights without telling us you hate the Knights. That is Adam Martin, everybody.
Sorry,
and that's at his best. He's
Someone wanted to
that's
tag
a lot
me
of
in something
research for
today.
you. That's more research than you've ever put into, I think, a Parramatta segment. So that's
It's magic what happens when Parramatta fans get salty and their team's not doing well. They've got a lot of spare
Someone
time.
tagged me in something today. Like, someone tagged me in something, and I was like, I thought to myself, how the fuck are they there? Like, when we played them back not that long ago in a pretty close game, you know, we were like literally playing in position, and then all of a sudden they're looking at playing finals. I'm like, how? Teams have obviously fallen over around them as well, but that's an easy.
I think it's a conspiracy
easy
theory. I think there's a lot of people on the Adam O'Brien bandwagon because there's a clause in his contract that if he doesn't get finals, they can give him the flick.
No, it was 13th. That defeat below 13th.
13th.
Yeah,
well, there you go. Even better.
Number.
I think that just might tie into your tinfoil hat theories as well, Adam.
I just think it's the fact that the NRL want the big crowds. That they've given them 2 home games to finish the year as well against, let's be honest, the Titans. We know the Titans fans are fucking shit. They don't have any. And then Dolphins, like the Dolphins got a bit of a bandwagon, but not exactly a well-known, renowned travelling club. They knew Newcastle, if they were in a position to make this 8, would sell out these crowds. They're about to break an attendance record for the year. Average.
Yeah, every home game has, or nearly every home game has been classed as a sellout for Newcastle.
Yeah, off the back of last year. Of course, they're going to give them an easy run home. And the fact they got so many buys at the back end of the year as well, just to freshen up after playing a higher team. I'm all for conspiracy theories. I reckon this draw is done randomly by someone overseas. What a load of shit. There's no way it is.
No, because the amount of input there is between Nine and Fox, and anyway, but that's a different story. If you take your emotion out of that, and everyone knows how much you hate Newcastle, you make very, very, very valid points. We all sit here and talk about the Sharks' easy draw and the Dogs playing 3 games from the last 11 and stuff like that. That draw Newcastle have had and the wins they've had is pretty fucking daunting if they're going up against genuine top 8 teams, isn't it? Surely, Jez, as a Newcastle fan.
I'm nodding in agreement because we have all been watching the Newcastle Knights this year. I've been there live, and the amount of times that we have not contested a bomb, like our for and against is horrific for a reason. Our defense is horrific for a reason. We've scraped through these games as wins, and as a very passionate Knights fan, we're going to get knocked out round 1 of finals if we make it anyway. We probably don't deserve to be there. We've gone through that many halves changes. It's not funny. Our just coaching approach to this season has been completely backwards. So no, I'm not sitting here with red and blue glasses on. I can clearly see what's been going on. I'm not too much into conspiracy theories. We have scraped wins when we needed to, but no, we genuinely don't deserve to be playing finals footy. Like, as someone who watches them every single week and gets frustrated even when we win, I am so mad at them because the tactics are that poor. We rely on 2 or 3 players to dig deep. If we didn't have Ponga, if we didn't have Phoenix Crosland, if we didn't have Tyson Frizzell, the names that I keep putting up every single week, Gagai, Bradman Best, if we didn't have those guys, we would be down with Parramatta at the moment. It's plain and simple. So I'm not
Parramatta out of your mouth.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I meant to say West Tigers.
Do you think they're going to win this weekend?
I think they'll beat the Dolphins just because it's a home game in front of that crowd, and that's what the NRL want. But if we do make finals, we're not going past the first one. That's for sure.
I think Wayne's going to take this one personally. Like, possibly. Wayne's going to, he obviously left Newcastle on a pretty bad terms. Potentially his last game at the Dolphins before, South. He's had a tough year this year as well, and by the time this game's on Sunday, he would have finished up his commitments of coaching South Sydney this year. And he can concentrate on the Dolphins. But what I want to run you through quickly, just to compare the two and who the teams have had to play. The Dolphins last week obviously beat the Broncos 4-6. Before that, they played Melbourne, got smashed 48-6. They got smashed by Canterbury 30-10. They beat the Warriors 34-32. They played the Roosters in Perth and got beat 40-34, which was one of the games of the year. They got beaten by the Titans. It must have been that atmosphere up there at Suncorp. They played Penrith.
Had the drum out that week.
They beat South Sydney. They got beaten by St George. They played Melbourne again, Cronulla. Like, you go back and look who they played in that time, the Knights have played those teams said they played. They have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams in the top 8.
Yeah.
They're more ready for this big game. More ready for the big game because of that.
And to top it off, I saw a thing that said Wayne Bennett has never lost a game in the last round that would drop his team out of the 8. Never.
So on that note, Adam, you're tipping the Knights and why?
Yeah, I'm tipping the Knights.
Because of the draw.
You should have let me say that. I was going to say that anyway. I've got the Dolphins. Whether I hate the Knights or not, I think the Knights, they're too reliant on 2 players now because Fletcher Sharp's just gone bang and burst on the scene and pulled off some freaky shit. But I think, as I said at the start of the year, and we were right with Hastings now playing reserve grade, the Knights halves just aren't good enough. Like the Dolphins halves
gambled back into the
games.
17.
Is he?
Playing 6. Yeah, he's playing 6.
Well, he's not named at 6. He's named at 14, but you watch him start in the halves.
Yeah, right. Well,
if he starts in the halves, I want to lose by 30.
Charlestown again. But I don't know. I think the Dolphins are just going to want it that little bit more better coach, a bit more experience there, and I think their game plan for Newcastle will be give the ball to Ponga if in doubt. I don't think he's playing anywhere near as good as he was last year. He was playing good last few weeks, don't get me wrong, but nowhere near as good as last year.
Mika, who you got?
Yeah, Dolphins. Just the whole Wayne Bennett thing. Like, he's leaving the club. It'll be their first time in the A. As I said, the history of him having his teams ready in these sorts of games. His history with Newcastle. So I can't see him losing this game. On Newcastle, their halves, the amount of they've chopped and changed them, I don't think they're as well coached as the Dolphins will be. I can't see. I think it'll be a good game because the home crowd and whatnot. But I think the Dolphins will end up getting them in the end.
Jez, you've taken the limelight here. This game we've talked about it for a while now. Who you got? You're sticking strong?
It was Adam's segment. No, I'm going the Knights, obviously. Very passionate Knights fan. Last home game. I think they will do it in front of a home crowd, but it will come down again to individual brilliance. It won't be tactics. It won't be a game plan. It'll be individual brilliance that gets us over the line. But I think the Dolphins will systematically look far better for most of the game, but we'll just jag it.
I gave Joel some research before this as well, which he hasn't done, which is quite disappointing as the host of the show. I would have done it if it was my show. We're going to go back to our preview show that we all did when we previewed the Knights season. And what I said on that preview was the last round of the year, the Dolphins will end the Knights season.
Yeah, I remember that actually. I'll give you that.
A gazillion points if I get that right. Look, I didn't have the Dolphins making the A. I didn't have this being a battle for 8, but I had the Dolphins ending the Knights season. So if that happens, you better do that research, Joe, and you better find that clip for me.
I've said
he didn't bring up the clip of me predicting what was going to happen with Moses and Origin. So how are you going to get a clip pulled up?
I'm not going all the way back.
Seniority, mate. It'll be longer. Right? There's a seniority around here. I'm too busy at the moment doing this bloke down here's work for him that I can't do work for him as well.
Me?
You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention on air. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, the transition
we'll
stuff.
Move on. I'll do my prediction and we'll move on. We don't want to get the Martin brothers to have a fight. Look, I'll go. I just like the way the way the Dolphins played on the weekend. That was, I think that was a great performance by them, and I just think it has them slightly ahead of the Newcastle Knights in this one. I think the Dolphins would just win it.
Can you say big things
Uh,
are coming out of the Dolphins so they lose?
Nah, I'm not going to say the big things coming
Nah.
for the Dolphins, but Wayne Bennett will get him into the finals and put his little magic dust. I actually have a big prediction for next week as well. Hopefully, we're going to do a bit of a preseason, not a pre, a final sort of preview, in depth one. And I actually think if the Dolphins end up versing the Dogs, I can see the Dolphins beating the Dogs next weekend. So that'll be a huge, huge game. But credit to you, Jez. The Newcastle Knights, I think their home crowds this year have been sensational. It has really been great to see, and being there for that Parramatta game, it was great. Great game, crowd, and great atmosphere. So I'm looking forward to watching this one Sunday afternoon. Just quickly, we'll go through the last couple of questions we got. We got one for the coach, and I'll just let Jez answer this one. None of us really matter what we think, but do you like Adam O'Brien as coach?
No, I've been quite vocal about this for
Can you
for
please
a couple
do that
of years now.
Can you please answer the question in your Adam O'Brien impersonation voice?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, you'll probably think I'm crazy, but no, I've been very impressed with Adam's coaching approach and the way that we don't compete on bombs and we do our 30-meter bomb as planned. You'll think I'm crazy, but no, I think he's been spectacular. No, he's a fucking flog. Like, honestly,
What's your
the
relationship
amount of
like with Jackson
the amount of
Hastings,
times we
man?
watch a Knights game and we can see things unfolding, and it's like the players have been told not to do what they would naturally do. So who knows? Maybe Gamble and what's his name, Hastings, could have been the pairing of the century, but they were restricted by Adam O'Brien's game plan of this 30-meter bomb that you don't contest.
How many halves pairings?
Who wants a
have you
repeat
had
set?
this
I know I don't. Anyway,
How many halves pairings have you had this year? I reckon it'd be about
6.
12.
Do you
Is
It
the
doesn't
the,
stop.
the 30-meter bomb tactic has to be a byproduct of the fact that your halves can't generate points.
And it's we're petrified of defending the short dropout. Like we just don't want to. We just want to turn the ball over. We don't want to compete. We don't want to give away penalties down in their end. It's like we're too lazy or just too ill coached that we can't attack a bomb without giving away a penalty. Like I can't put my finger on it. I don't know why, but it's been all season and it's driven me mad. Even the commentators on Fox are like, I think last week we competed for our first bomb and they nearly fell over. Like they were rattling off stats about how they have not competed for a content. Like they anyway, don't get me started. Season's
Get
nearly
your
done.
questions in, guys. Quickly, we'll be for a couple of minutes and we'll go. There is one here from Diggs. That our Jez, you got someone that's trying to take your job, by the way. Adam wants your producer role. What jersey / color design do you see, or do you want to see for Para next year? I'm sick of the white away. Adam, I don't know if you have any information on this or not, or I don't know what your personal views are on the matter.
As a non-biased fan, can I give my opinion first?
Yes.
Turf the white. The white sucks. Get rid of that all yellow one that you had a couple of years ago as well. Go back to the simple, your home strip has predominantly blue. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then for your away strip, just inverse it. So it's predominantly yellow with blue. That is what Parramatta's all about. Remember that ASICS one that you were sponsored by ASICS? It was on the front.
Yep.
That's what we want as rugby league fans.
We're not allowed to have that one. We're not allowed to have the yellow.
That's the one.
Because we're not
Get
allowed
rid
to
of
have
this
it
whole
because
blue thing too. It sucked.
Macaron lost a lawsuit with Adidas and they can't do the 3 stripes. But without saying too much, Jeremy could be onto something in regards to the colour of the jersey. Let's just say it's on this jersey and it's not white.
Green?
Yeah, the white jersey is fucking horrible. How the white jersey ever became a thing is beyond me. We're the blue and gold army. Like, where the fuck is white? Like,
NRL want everyone to have a white jersey.
I actually hated this year's home jersey until I saw it in person. It's not as bad as I thought, but it would be so much better if the yellow was just done a bit better. Like, it's kind of like crisscrossed, and if it was just more prominent and there was a bit of yellow on the shoulder.
I still hate it.
And that's what I said to you when I saw it on you live. I said, in person, that's not bad. But when you're watching it on telly, like that's when we're majority watching this game,
What would you...
Yeah.
What would you think of a reverse jersey of that out of interest? Like,
Depends
all
if
yellow.
depends what the stitching ends up like.
What,
just
yellow with the bluey?
Yeah,
How
yellow
long have
with
they
the
got with
blues,
Macron?
potentially.
How long until Macron goes away?
One more year.
2027.
Oh,
Yep.
what? I thought it was one more.
No, we've got 25, 26 of them. We can't. 27 is new.
Ah, spewing. Yeah, anyway, I think we all agree. Get the yellow back or the gold. Get that back. We really
Imagine if
want
they
to
snared
see.
like Nike or someone. That'd be sick.
Give us someone better than Macron. Shout out to you, Macron. If you want to jump on the podcast and then give us a sponsor, you're more than welcome to. Do you think Lomax plays center or wing next year, and which side of the field? If center, I think he will play wing. After on the weekend watching him, and I think, to be honest, I think he got turned inside out by our centers, and that's not great. So I think he's lost his, lost his aura in the center. I think he's just become an established winger, and I think he's one of the best wingers in the game. So leave him where he's best at, and I think that's wing.
Yeah, I think you've got Pennis.
Talking Para podcast last night, Joel, and
Pennis
had those exact thoughts.
Pennicini's one
Great
wing.
minds think alike.
Pennicini's one center. Gutho's going to be the other. So he's only got a position on the wing.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that is one more. Where do we think it's all para question? Can you give us one non-footy related question, someone please out there? What position you think Gustin will play? Center, hooker, second row, lock, bench. I think it's center. I think Mika's hit the nail on the head next year. We've got Ayongi coming in, and it'll be center. So, Jez, since you're back, do you want to give us one final question, a non-footy related question we can quickly answer, and then get out of here because we're going to go.
If you were to have one superpower, what would it be? One superpower. Mine is flight. I would like to fly.
Invisibility. I'd love to.
Oh,
be
you
invisible
creep.
and just see some shit that's going on.
Fucking hell.
What do you Martin brothers got? Come on.
Well, you went creepy. I was going to go creepy. I was going to say I'd want to be able to see everyone do a podcast with naked, but I decided not to go there now because you went invisibility. But I reckon just teleporting, like flying would be pretty cool, but teleporting would be fucking handy. Like, imagine going to a game at Combank Stadium, watching Parramatta get fucking trounced and being like, boom, I'm home in Maitland. Like, how good would that be? I stopped for a bloody milkshake at the Cheesecake Factory in Los Angeles on the way home. Like, I still got home quicker. Like, how good would that be?
That would be good.
Mika?
Probably mind reading. Pretty sick.
That's pretty creepy.
Nah, I wouldn't use it for evil.
Just who knows what I'm thinking at the moment.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Want to see him
Get the
naked?
fuck out of here. I've got things to do.
What other sports do we watch apart from GAFL? I don't even watch GAFL, so it's I think the only one here that actually watches it is Adam. So
Wow.
Yeah, come on. 2024 now. We can be better.
He's with the times.
You got to be better. I'm reading. By the way, I'm
Up this
reading the question out, guys. I'm not saying I agree with what he's saying, but I don't watch AFL, so I think I'll watch like parts of the grand final. I'll just have it on in the background, but it's literally the only game I'll watch. So Adam's
if you can
the
bet on it, I'll
diehard.
watch it. Essentially, but no, it's just sport. If you can punt on it, I'll watch it. I don't care what it is.
F1, being the F1, soccer, but now all that changes with Optus Sport has screwed that. I just refuse to. I just don't watch it. I'm not paying that much money for that. So it's all good, boys. I think we're done.
I got one more.
I actually wanted to put. Speaking of betting and sports, I was going to have some betting on the Paralympics, but it kept saying I didn't have the right legs. I'm missing.
Thank you, Chat GPT.
We've got to be better. We've got to be better.
One more.
It's late. It's 10:01. It's 10:01.
If you could see a sports person, a high-end sports person who is no longer with us, so who's passed away in their prime, you get to go back and just see them do one thing that they're very famous for. Who would that be and why?
Don Bradman, cricket, batting, just how everyone speaks about how good he was. I want to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah, everyone bowled underarm back then, so who cares? Mine is Muhammad Ali. I would like to have seen that in person. That would have been cool.
Mika?
I don't have an answer to this question. All the sports people
Adam?
that I want to see are still alive. Sorry.
We'll go back to their prime. What would you want to see again if you didn't get to see it live? Like live, not just on telly.
Tiger Woods and not on the golf course.
Um, it'd be a toss-up between Brett Kenny or Wayne Gretzky.
Ooh.
Ads, take us
Well-
out. What do you got?
Wouldn't walk into any dark alleys with those two with the curse they've just been given. I'd say I was lucky enough to see Kobe Bryant play in his last season, but obviously he's gone now. But I would have loved to see Kobe Bryant actually play in his prime, or even not his prime. Like I missed his last game by about 8 games, and then he dropped 68 points or 64 points. So it wasn't his last game, so that would have been pretty awesome to see.
Thank you to everyone. That is us.
I got one.
Oh,
Fucking
thanks.
Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee. It's kind of a sport, isn't it? Like
In a movie? You can watch him
like-
anytime.
in fucking like go and watch him do a demonstration at a tournament and shit like he used to do, and all the shit that he used to be able to do with his body. That's just fucking unbelievable. That counts, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well done.
He's sick.
Thank you. I've noticed a few of you have stayed along the whole way tonight, so I really appreciate you all being involved. It's been a very spoken about show. You've all got in the comments. There's been a lot of hot topics, so I really appreciate everyone getting involved and doing as we always say. Jez, you're back. Do you want to do the honors of taking us out? You're so good at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go the Knights. Suck shit, Para. And see you next week.
Fins up, baby.